welcome back to HTV, where how to become your most fashionable and successful self. Now I know we live in a difficult time, which is why I created the Ease Your Life segment. And today I have a special guest with us today, who is Neha Sahani, who is a career coach. And what makes her different is that she is also an biomedical engineer. Is that correct, Neha?
That is correct. Thank
Yes,
you for having me, Hadeel.
yes, welcome, Neha. So tell us a
Thank
little of
you.
your story.
Well, I'm Indian, as you may have guessed from my name,
Yeah,
and I live in Dubai right now.
yes.
Yeah. But what is interesting is I've actually never really lived in India. I was born and raised in Kuwait.
No way, that's so
Yeah.
interesting.
Yes.
Wow.
So very much homegrown in the Middle East.
Yay.
And so I think maybe a lot of the references about my life story that I will share with you today would
Mhm.
resonate with some of your audience who is locally based.
Yeah.
So I was born and raised in Kuwait, lived there for many years up until my high school, and then I moved to the United States for my undergraduate degree.
Mhm.
So that's where I got my biomedical engineering degree from. And I was extremely ambitious from the get-go. Even in school, I was like always trying to find new ways to grow and develop. Uh, I was I was one of those nerds. I was a straight A student, I have to admit. But I also had a lot of fun. I always did dancing and plays and debates. So really, I just went all out in exploring my potential, and the same kind of thing continued to happen in the U.S. And you know what's interesting is I knew I didn't want to just come home. Back in 15, 20 years ago, when a lot of girls were going abroad for college, the norm, at least at that time, was still that we were the first women in our families to go abroad all by ourselves for a higher education.
Yeah.
At least in my culture, I'm Indian ethnically, and even though Indian women from my mother's generation were very well educated, most of them still chose to be homemakers and stay-at-home moms. But that all started to change with our generation, your and my
Mm,
generation, right?
yeah.
So we are not only educated, but we're also career women. So
Yeah.
that's really where I get a lot of my inspiration from, that I want to be an example of what a woman can do now that our grandmothers and mothers have paved the way for us.
Correct. That's amazing. That's how. So tell us a little bit of your background of your education. Is it biomedical engineer, then switch to career coach, or is it both together?
That's a great question. So it's both together. They're not related, and
Yeah.
they are mutually exclusive. I'm a huge nerd. I love the sciences. I love technology.
Yeah.
I love anything that has to do with the future of work and industries. So I've always been very well read and very well integrated into that space. Like I was always interested in tech challenges and pitch fests.
Mhm.
I was working in the US at a global corporation called Johnson and Johnson. Now I work at another very globally renowned company, Unilever. So
Yeah.
I've always been very integrated in the healthcare and consumer products industry as my industry. This is what
Yeah.
my bread and butter is. But
Yes.
I realized that there is a significant gap in representation of women in these industries, especially at the junior and mid-management level.
Mm.
When you go to the senior management, it's a totally different ball game, and I don't even want to go there in this
No,
interview because
it's
that's
okay.
its own interview. So I realized that the change where I can help is really start to help and support and coach and mentor other young aspirational women who are
Mhm.
interested in these fields but don't see enough role models. And
Ah.
that's really where my journey started. So I decided, it's a very conscious decision,
Mhm.
that even though I have started doing career coaching, and I'm doing that extensively, not just for women, it's for both men and women, because
Yes.
everybody needs a helping hand somewhere.
Correct.
Um, my conscious decision to stay very active in the corporate space in my niche
Mhm.
in R&D is so that I can continue to remain an example of what is possible in the STEM industries as a woman.
Correct. Amazing, Neha. So, okay, I asked you a question, but I need to rephrase it again. So, if someone is like in a, how you say, a black hole in his career, how can one navigate towards enlightenment? You know, if someone is like, oh my god, I don't know what to do with my career, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do. How would you know? How would you have the experience to help them,
Yeah.
like, brush the gap, or like, like bridge the gap?
Yes, yes. So this is actually it's a very good question, and it's a very common situation we all find ourselves in.
Yeah,
In full disclosure, I've also been there, right? We've all been there
right.
at different stages. I think the first time we start thinking about it is in school, when everybody says, "So, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And you make up
Yeah,
things. You
yeah.
say you want to be a teacher, or I used to say I wanted to be an astronaut,
Wow.
which which was because I space, and I loved the stars. I was fascinated by the moon landing, and then I realized I have to study physics forever, and I don't really like physics,
uh,
which is why I did biomedical engineering, which is all biology and
yeah,
chemistry. So
yeah,
it just goes to show that this changes. The other myth I want to address
sure,
quickly before I answer your question
sure.
is, Hadeel, I think there is a over sensationalization of your passion. All
Yeah,
these influencers and gurus and authors, um, they've glorified the need to know what your passion is and follow your passion blindly. And I
yeah,
think the biggest mistake a lot of these gurus are making is leading the youth into thinking that if you can answer the question, what would you be willing to do for free? Then maybe you found your passion. But I want to be very practical, right? I don't lead people into this dark place where they should be willing to do something for free. I think it's
mm,
a very negative space to go into, because
mm-hmm.
pretty quickly what you're passionate about will
Doing
have a
nothing.
very will have a very negative effect on your mindset, on your psyche, on your life,
Mhm.
because you'll realize that even though you're pouring your heart and soul into what you think is your life's calling, if it can't provide basic necessities for your lifestyle, if it can't provide food for your on the table, if it cannot provide for basic needs for your family, that goes the wrong way. So your passion disappears immediately if you're hungry all the time, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
let's just dispel that myth. So I think passion, it can be a myth. So when somebody is in a dark place where
Yeah.
they are very confused about what to do with their career, I want them to really do a self-assessment on a couple of things. One is, what are they good at?
Yeah.
That's the I teach this to every single person that comes to my workshops or that just gives me a call for a discovery session. This is the first thing I ask them. What are you good at? What are you great at? And then what can you do better? And I
Mm.
have many client testimonials that actually say that just these three questions have started to change their lives, because they started to realize,
Okay.
wait a minute, I'm good at something. Now, after that stage, you have to realize, okay, if I'm good at something, can this turn into a career? Or better yet, how do I turn it into a career? And that's where the real journey starts with a career
Oh,
coach.
that's
And the
amazing.
second thing I will say is the question about what can I do better?
Yeah.
That question is very crucial to help you understand where is the gap.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's just make up an example of a brilliant young woman who wants to go into I don't
Hmm.
know, fashion designing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, so let's say she's always been very good with styling. She's always been very good with art, like drawing. She's been very good with helping her friends pick out outfits and stuff like that. But her dream is to become a world renowned fashion designer. So you know what you're good at. You even know what you might be great at. Let's say you're also great at public speaking, and you might be great at um, you might be great at engagement. You might even be great at doing live workshops. You might be great at making other people feel comfortable with your outfits and designs.
Yeah.
But what you might lack, so what can you do better, might be the technical skills of working with certain fabrics. They might be working with certain machines to help you manufacture better. It might be the business side of things that you need to learn to really become that A-list fashion designer. You
Correct.
know, things like that. It might be that you need to get a better handle on public relations so you can get the right media to notice you and
Yeah.
give you the publicity you need. So that's, it starts to really unravel what it is that you're good at and where you need to start your journey if you're looking to move forward in your
That's amazing, Neha. Wow, you gave me like a good example right there.
career.
It's like, is that me? I don't know. Is that me?
Well, I just picked an example because I know that you said you're a stylist, and I know
Yes.
I'm assuming a lot of your audience might resonate with these kind of examples.
Yes,
But feel
exactly.
free if you think that there is in your future questions, if you have specific kind of examples you want me to
Yeah.
tackle, I'd be happy
Yeah.
to take a stab at it.
It's okay. But Neha, how did you like wake up one day and you know what? I want to be a coach. Like, where is that? Where does that come from?
Oh, that's such a good question. So I don't think that anything happens just when you wake up one day.
Yeah.
Because now when I look back, I think I always knew that I have a burning desire to nurture. So
Okay.
really, a coach is just a terminology to that
Help.
the world or society has created for this kind of person who helps you bring out the best in yourself. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what a coach is.
Yeah.
In theory, teachers are coaches, parents are good coaches because they
Yes.
bring out the best in you. So in different mentors are also serve that purpose, but you know there is a slight difference between a mentor and a coach. So really, that's why we have this title of a coach. But at my very core, I'm a nurturer. I love to help people bring out the best in them. I realized a few years ago in my early in my corporate career, I started volunteering in employee engagement programs that help people diversify their skill set. So
Mm-hmm.
again, like I said, I was a scientist, I was in R&D, and we had other different kinds of scientists all in our department. But we all wanted to grow, right? So there's two ways of growing. One is this way, and one is
Lineal and
diversification.
yeah.
Yeah, linear and then vertical. And
Yeah.
vertical doesn't really happen. That's a myth. We all know growth doesn't happen that way.
No.
Nor does it happen like that. It sort of happens like
Goes
this, and then it
down, up
goes
and
up.
down, up and down, up and down.
Exactly. So we developed programs. A lot of colleagues and I, we developed programs with the help of HR and other peers
Hmm.
on how do we use all the internal resources we have to create more learning experiences. So I, as an R&D scientist, can maybe learn about finance, and then I can learn a little bit about marketing, so on and so forth.
Wow.
And I realized I was thriving in that space. Like, so I was doing my day job really well, but where my own leadership started to shine and I
Yeah.
was getting even recognized for it was in these tangent programs that we started developing for the whole department. I knew that there was something inside me, like a fire had started burning saying,
Wow.
wow, I think I really have a knack for this. So when I moved to Dubai is when so I'll fast forward.
Yeah.
So after 10 years of working in the US and Canada,
Hmm.
I found my now husband, and we decided we were going to live in Dubai together.
Wow.
And I was happy with that because I said, you know what, it's time to make a fresh start, a new country. I love living in different countries. Dubai is wonderful, and I've lived in the Middle East, so it's not like this
Something
culturally different.
strange. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. If anything, I think I adjusted like in 2 days. I was already adjusted. so so for me, I moved here, and I had to quit my job because I was getting married and moving halfway across the world.
Yeah.
It was just too many new things were happening, and I didn't want to try and find a new job in all of that because then I can't focus on any one thing. So I decided I would focus on my marriage, my brand new marriage, and I'll build a home here. I'll settle down, start to build a community. And right as I think within 2 months of me moving here, I realized, okay, this is the time to really start investing in this burning desire of wanting to be a coach. And it happened very quickly. After that, I started working with a lot of people here
Okay.
locally, and
Yeah.
now I have clients who do online sessions with me as well.
Wow. So you have no clients. So, okay, perfect. So what
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
have you have it like a workshop or just
Yes,
clients?
so you're absolutely right. So I did have a lot of in-person workshops. In fact, I think workshops are my personal favorite because I thrive on
One to one
interpersonal
or whatever. Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, one to many, but more live, like a live
Yes.
situation.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can tell I don't shy away from speaking candidly.
Yeah.
So like for me that is very good. I love taking questions from the audience and answering and molding
Mm.
the workshop to the needs of my audience. So that is something that I've done. At the time of this recording, obviously we are social distancing, so paused on all of our workshops. All of those are at a standstill until further notice, when the
Mhm.
world is healed and we are in a better place. But through those workshops, what the good thing that's come out is people have reached out to me to say, you know what, I want to go deeper, and I don't want to discuss my situation or my journey in depth in an audience. Can I meet with you privately? And that's
Mhm.
really where the one-on-one session started.
Yeah.
And many people who cannot meet live, in general, they are either abroad or they just don't have the ability to meet frequently in person, then
Yeah.
we choose to do online sessions with them.
Perfect. So just one last question, Neha. What is, of course, you have like experience in seeing people, interviewing people, and all of that amazing experiences that you have. Have you noticed some kind of trends in learning, like how do you say this? Bridging the gap, like I said before. Have you seen trends while meeting different people?
So help me understand your question. Trends in terms of the concerns people have, or
Yes,
trends in
yes.
terms of okay.
Concerns, yeah.
So there are certain you're so I'll rephrase your question. So you're asking, have I noticed certain themes or trends in the types of questions and concerns people have?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's my question.
Okay. Yes, yes, absolutely. So, of course, there's many common themes. So, the first one we already addressed, which is
Yes.
I don't know where to begin. I'm feeling lost in my career. Truth be told, I think every single one of us has a deep insight on what it is we want to do.
Hmm.
Sometimes we just bury it deep inside. So, part of my job is sometimes to get that out of you and
Hmm.
give you the courage to say it out loud, so you realize, oh, okay, now that I've faced the difficult part of realizing what I want to do, let's take it the next step forward on how to do it. So that's number one, which is I don't know where to begin. I don't know what my purpose is.
Yes.
The second more common trend is, which is more tactical, is a lot of people that are clear on what kind of job or industry they want. They want help in actually getting interviews. So a lot of times what happens is we start to apply for multiple jobs, and then we realize we're not getting any callbacks. And it really starts to affect our
The
confidence.
confidence, yeah.
Yeah, it's especially a lot of times when people have had a little bit of a career break, for a variety of reasons. I mean, a lot of women have a break because of maternity, or in this part of the world when they move abroad with their spouses, then people have had career gaps. So
Yeah.
they really struggle with that. So I work closely with people to make sure that their resumes are actually highlighting them in their best frame,
Mhm.
is really highlighting them as the expert in the industries and removing all of the fluff and the clutter,
Yeah.
and then preparing them for that whole journey. So all the way down from rebranding them so that they are assets, which are your resume, your LinkedIn profile, and your portfolio. Those
Hmm.
are the assets that I teach people, that they are fully on brand for
Yeah.
who they are. They're coached intensively on the industry that they are targeting, the kind of company, if they have a dream company that they're looking for.
Hmm.
We coach intensely on the interview questions. So that's, I think, one of my superpowers. I really, because I am very strong in communication skills, I really coach people in how to
Present
build that
themselves.
confidence
Yeah.
and really ace the interview. And then all the way down to salary negotiation. So that becomes like a proper journey. And the third and final thing is, which is actually scary that is so common, is um, knowing their value. So the third most common trend, which most people don't vocalize, but
Mhm.
I have to sort of show them the mirror, is a lot of people feel that they don't deserve the income that they want.
Yeah.
There is a lot of fear around asking for the salary that they dream of. There's a lot of hesitation, and sometimes we just don't have the right tools to either ask for a raise or apply to a new job and then demand for the paycheck that we think we deserve. So that's a third theme I notice that people really like to get support in.
That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much. So, where can they find you if people want to work with you?
Absolutely. So I'm on all social media channels. The easiest way to find me is to go to my website, which is www.nehasahani.com. I have tons of free resources there. I post blogs frequently and provide guides and handouts for people to use.
Mhm.
I also do tutorials on YouTube, and you can also find me on Instagram at World Leaders Academy.
That's amazing. What's your YouTube channel, Neha?
It's just my name, Neha Sahani. If you
Amazing.
search by my name,
Yes,
you will
I will
find.
link it in the description below so anyone who would actually know you, I would like to invite.
Absolutely.
Perfect. So,
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Neha, for tuning in with us, and thank you our audience for tuning in with us. And I'll catch you next time for another episode. And until then, take care. Bye.
Thank you so much, Hadeel. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.